What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Between the Speakers Season 2. I'm your host, Indiana Massara, and today I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, Indiana. I'm Nick from Dreamers.
Great. We're going to ask you a few questions. Obviously, you have a lot of cool things going on with you, your life, and your background and your skateboard. So let's get into it.
Fire away.
So obviously, you are a part of a really, really cool band, Dreamers. So how did you guys meet and come together as a band?
Yeah, well, we met in New York. I was living in my practice space in Brooklyn. I figured out that if I didn't have an apartment, I could just work at the bar one day a week. So I was totally slumming it, living the music life, writing a ton of music. And that's when I met Nelson, who's our bass player. And he loved the songs as much as I do. You can ask him. He'll say the same thing. And it kind of all started from there. Yeah, we just kind of figured we had to write our way out of this self-imposed prison, and it kind of just became a life, and we've been on that journey ever since.
That's amazing. I really like that. So where did you grow up? Did you grow up in Brooklyn or?
No, I grew up in Seattle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I went to New York for NYU. Went to go to college there. I studied jazz saxophone. Grew up playing saxophone.
Wow.
Yeah, but I always loved, grunge rock music, and rock music felt like it was really my music, my way to get my word out. So I always wanted to make a rock band. So
do you think your time spent at NYU and in Brooklyn helped develop you as an artist and a person, or do you think that was time wasted? Like, how do you feel about that?
No, I think, it's all part of this journey. I mean, learning music, I learned how to practice, and I learned how music works, even though I didn't learn guitar or voice until after I kind of started wanting to do that on my own. But mainly coming to New York is where I met just all these crazy people and saw all this crazy life and this culture, and kind of fell in love with that mentality. So
when did you start playing and getting into music?
Apparently I wanted to play sax ever since I was 2 years old.
Wow.
I started when I was like 11.
Very
it was just kind of a trick that I could do, or that I wanted to do.
That's really
But I didn't think
cool.
of it. Yeah, I didn't think of it as a career until I was probably like 18, and I searched my soul.
Wow, that's amazing. I really like that. So, obviously, you guys are a band. So, you guys when did you guys do your first tour? And have you tour? Who have you guys toured with and where? I love touring. I miss it. So, what about you?
Tour life. We've been touring for 5 years nonstop ever since this really got started. We had toured before in other bands. We had other failed projects and stuff like that. We're all three of us musicians that have been doing it for a long time. But this one, we kind of got lucky. It started. Our song did really well on satellite radio, and we got a tour opening for Stone Temple Pilots, who are huge heroes of ours. And that was back when Chester from Linkin Park was singing for them, before their singer Scott Weiland died, but after he had been kicked out of the band. So anyway, it's kind of a dream come true as grunge heads and 90s music freaks. So we got to start the tour at the Paramount in Seattle, which is my dream venue. I always wanted to play. And we kind of been road dogs ever since.
Do you think that was nerve-wracking, being with people that you look up to and that, are such icons to you? Do you think that was really nerve-wracking, being on tour with them, or were you playing it cool? How did that feel?
Definitely always act cool, no matter what. It was nerve-wracking, but they were so supportive and so helpful to us as this brand new band that no one's ever heard of. They were just putting our name big on the posters and being super welcoming. So we feel like they really showed us the way. In that way, Chester bought us hotels out of his own pocket because he saw us slumming it in my dad's borrowed van, which is crazy. No one ever does that. So
that is so
that really
sweet.
helped.
Yeah.
But I feel nervous every time I play a show, whether it's a huge theater or a tiny coffee shop.
I feel like I get more nervous in more in intimate settings. Whenever I go home back to Australia, and my family's Indy, can you sing us a song? Because obviously they're we just want to hear you sing a song, and I'm in front of my family, that's so nerve-wracking.
Right, it's more nerve-wracking than an anonymous crowd of just a sea of faces.
Yeah, of course. One of the biggest shows I've ever done, and I like it's not that big, but it was really big to me. It was like 5,000 people, and it was like
huge.
Yeah, and I was like so nervous. It was like one of my first performances, and I was freaking out. But the minute I got on stage, I was like, I don't know any of these people. I'm just gonna like go live my life and have fun, and that's exactly what I did, and that's why I fell in love with performing and music and all that stuff. But the minute I'm asked to perform and I see people I know, I freak. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna judge me. What if I F up and then I've got to see their faces again? This is gonna suck.
Yeah. Well, you found the place where you thrive then, in front of massive crowds.
Definitely. So your song HeatSeeker, like what was the inspo behind that?
That was a song, like, I had been writing a ton of music, kind of. I had just finished a breakup album, and it was all about, love and what that means and stuff. And I was kind of like finally over that. And I was just kind of writing a lot of songs about philosophy. I had this kind of idea in my head that I was going to call the next album Life, Death, and Everything. And might not, but that was kind of the idea. It's like philosophy, life, what it means. So HeatSeeker was kind of the epitome of that to me. It's like, it's just about wanting to be, striving to be someone who's always looking, moving, changing, growing. I said it's better to be lost than to stay the same. So that's kind of what that song's about. And that's what Dreamers is about in the end anyways, kind of why we called ourselves that. Just always wanted to hope to be the thinkers, the imaginers, and that's the kind of people we want to attract to ourselves.
I love that. That's really, really cool. Have you ever DJ'd or gotten into electronic music?
I have. I love electronic music, mostly as a fan. I love going to raves. I've done, especially in Europe, where rave culture is just insane and ongoing. But I have DJ'd also. I'm a band boy, I'm a rock singer. But sometimes we get asked to do a DJ set, and it's always really amateur. I do it on the iPhone. But I always joke that one time Flume came to my DJ set because we played a Lollapalooza after party, and I was DJing just from my phone. And I was like, oh, there's Flume over there, a real DJ, and I'm DJing for him.
Wow, that's crazy. That is amazing. Speaking of music festivals, as much as we miss them, I'd love to show you a little clip of a game we have.
I'd love to see it. All right, FUSER.
Yes.
Tell me what's going on here. What is this?
Ooh, DJ app. You get to mix and mash. You get to share with your friends, create your own DJ sets.
Wow.
The colors are
super sick.
The colors are beautiful.
You get to create a festival. You get to be a DJ on the stage, under the lights, in the fog.
Pretty much what we dream
of.
Feel
the roar of the crowd. It's pretty much what we dream about. Yeah. Before quarantine started, we had just played our first festival in England. It was incredible.
That's
it was
amazing.
Basically like this, only less colorful.
So basically you can do that from your bed now, which is amazing.
I guess so. I guess I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to just be on this all day to keep myself sane.
I always call that man in the blue suit. I love him, his vibe, his suit. So that's my man.
That's your man? That's your avatar?
Yeah, that's my avatar.
I think I'd like to be the girl with the crazy wolf head.
Ah, nice choice. I always pick the ice cream stage as well. I didn't know if you saw that one, but that's my stage. That's my set.
Right. So are we designing the stage, or are we just choosing
you design
the stage?
your stage. You choose your person.
Wow. And the music on here, you have like real DJs music. Do you create your own music?
Yeah, like over 100 different songs that you can like change the BPM of, add some bass, different lyrics, different beats.
I would get weird. I would create some really dark madness.
Ah, I love it.
What is it that I saw you made a post where Diplo said you could battle him? What's the scenario with like DJ battles on this?
Yeah, you can. You can battle with your friends, create your own sets with your friends, and show them. It's really, really cool.
Take over the world.
Maybe I'll just go verse some of my friends back home in Australia.
I think I would plug this to my giant studio speakers and play it at like 1,000 dB.
Yeah.
And just so that my entire neighborhood could hear.
And they'd all be like, that sounds like a party.
Yeah. That sounds like a quarantine violation.
I'm going to do some quick little trivia, random questions. Answer as quick as you can off the top of your head. It's just so the fans can get to know you a little bit better.
Sure. Great.
You have 2 skateboards in the back. Do you skateboard?
I do. I don't. I'm actually a huge poser. These were 2 lovely gifts that we got on tour. One is from the Baltimore Soundstage when we played, and they carved that for us as a gift, which is amazing. The other one's from a fan. Just
Wow.
made us that Dreamers deck.
Favorite sports team?
That's really tough, but I gotta say Seattle Seahawks.
All right.
Because I'm from Seattle, and that's the one that I watch when I go home and hang out with my dad. But sports, usually I'm just really confused and I have no idea what's happening.
Favorite number?
Favorites are tough, but the number 12 calls to me. Great number, divisible by 6, divisible by 4, divisible by 3, 2, 1.
It's just nice.
When I was age 12, it was a great year for me. I feel like that's when my modern mind began, my current mind. 12, Baker's dozen. Nice clean number.
We love it. What is your least favorite letter in the alphabet?
How could you ask me to shun any of the letters? You know, all the letters they're watching right now. X doesn't get enough love.
X doesn't. X and Z.
I'll say N because my name starts with N and I'm just ready for a change.
So, would you like to tell the fans what you have coming up and anything that they need to know about you and your band?
Yeah, I'll tell you that we can't tour right now, but we're getting crazy creative and we're going to be releasing a ton of music all throughout next year. We have a new song, True Crime, featuring Death by Romy, which you got to check out the song and video. Death by Romy is this amazing, badass, gothy, extra, super cool artist that we love and that we're stoked to get her on a song. And True Crime is the first wave of this kind of like sort of darker music that we're going to be putting out this year.
That's really, really cool. What's like the story behind it, if you are allowed to share?
Yeah, it's kind of True Crime is a song about, it's a love song. It's a song about the crimes that we commit on each other in love and how tragic it is. It's also a song that I wrote partially in New Orleans, which is a city that I've fallen in love with on tour, just for what a crazy, romantically savage, wonderful land it is. So it's a song that's, to me, is like a whole New Orleans song.
So when did you get your first record deal, and how did that transition happen from being an independent indie artist to being signed to a label?
Yeah, well, we signed our first and only record deal 2015. It came after years of touring in a van and kind of trying stuff, and stuff started to sort of pick up in the right way. We had turned down an offer before that wasn't any good. And we finally got this one, which is Hollywood Records, that was kind of amazing. And I just picked up my suitcase from New York and moved to LA and never looked back. We've kind of been on the road ever since.
That's
I think we're lucky in that way.
I feel like everyone's outside perspectives on artists is like they work and work to just get signed to a label deal. But some people, that isn't their dream. It's their dream to just be independent and indie and play smaller places. And that's amazing too. Do you think it was something that you guys were always working towards, or was it something that just came along and it was the right deal at the right time, or was it really difficult to turn down the first deal because that is what you guys were like working towards?
Yeah, people kind of idolize the idea of a record deal as if that means you're
going to be successful.
I mean, sometimes it doesn't. I think you should turn down a deal if it's not right. We happened to get the right one that was really good, and it's been incredible. But some artists can do better if they're independent. I think especially in this day and age, you got to just follow what works. Getting a record deal doesn't mean your band's going to be big. It might have meant more like something like that in previous decades. Now I feel like it just means you're in the arena, you get to play the game. It doesn't mean you're going to win the championship, but it can do so much for us. It's opened a ton of doors. It's enabled us to use budgets and stuff that we never would have gotten our hands on, and enabled us to do certain things. I think we're lucky we have a label that supports us and that didn't want to just take everything and then drop us right away. It didn't work out. They've stuck with us. They've understood our vision and kind of just supported what we wanted to do. So look for a deal like that, I think, or don't take one.
I think that it's super nerve-wracking for artists or younger artists or newer artists to sign a deal because they're worried that their creative freedom is going to be lost because of, big major labels coming in being like, this is how we feel you should do things and this is like our way of doing it. Do you think that it could be really difficult to lose your artistic vibe and your creative endeavors because you sign a label deal? Yeah,
I've seen it personally, like the whole spectrum of that. I think depending on if you work with a team of people that really only wants to do one thing and it's different from what you do, that could be really bad. You could lose your thing. It's not been like that for us. Our label, like, sees what we want to do and support it. So I think you just, it's all about the people that you're working with. And I think everything under the sun exists. So just watch out and keep your eyes realistic about what's, you know, what you're signing on to.
Thank you so much for joining me on Between the Speakers. I wish you luck on your brand new song. I can't wait to see the video and listen, and all of our fans to listen. Make sure, if you want to plug your Instagram and your socials, tell the fans where they can find you and your amazing band's music.
Hell yeah. Thanks, Indiana. We're Dreamers. We're called Dreamers. Join us across all platforms. So any dreamers out there, come join us.